And here's my PowerPoint. All right. Whew, okay, once again, welcome to, on behalf of Sierra College, our nice students, welcome to Buy High Cash Flow Rentals Out of State. Thank you for taking the time out of your day for the next 3 hours to hear this, hopefully a high value presentation. And as I said before, you could, throughout the presentation, you can put it down on a chat box. And yeah, put down in the chat box to ask any questions. If I can see the chat box. Oh, yeah, let me open up my chat box. Okay, I see my chat box in the corner of my presentation, so I know I will anticipate any questions you may have. All right, my name is Si Wing Yi, by the way. Thank you for attending. So without further ado, let's proceed. Well, okay, a little bit about me, just a real little. I've been doing this for a very, very long time, and have an accounting degree and a master's in taxation degree in real estate. And I'm retired with the U.S. Army 18 years ago. Served 20 years, and of course, and I'm a California licensed real estate broker located here in the East Bay, and I have more than 15 years of experience. All right, and so I run the real estate investment club here in the Bay Area for the past 15 years, and I help hundreds and hundreds of people to achieve their real estate goals and objectives. All right, so like a lot of you thinking, if you want to buy investment real estate, you only buy in your own backyard. Well, not necessarily so. So I'm going to show you how, because clearly the reason most of you are listen to me, as you know, assuming you live in the Bay Area or in California, so we can pretty much acknowledge that it is really too expensive to buy a rental property here. So, and I'm going to show you some in real time, real world strategies of how to buy out of state properties. All right. Okay. So again, you need to think outside the box. You need to create a paradigm shift in your thinking. Just because you physically live here does not mean you have to buy in your own backyard. So, all right. And let me share with you the current conditions, what's going on. And we have the current conditions during this pandemic environment is we are becoming a nation of renters, and rental mania is happening all across America, right? Tens of millions of people in past 10 years, especially the people that went through the financial crisis back in 2009, many of those people are still unable to buy homes, so they will continue to rent until the situation gets better. So, and here's a following additional recaps, what's going on with the economic conditions prior to the pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, back in February, March of this year, the economy is humming along steadily. Real estate is expecting to have a banner year for the year 2020. And there are pent-up demands from buyers, and home new constructions are ramping up. All right, so since I've been teaching at the adult school level for so long, all over the Bay Area, at least for the past 15 years, now I know most, if not all of you, are working full time, you have a regular day job. So, and so most of you are, you know, own home, maybe at least half of you, if you live in the Bay Area in California for more than 5 or 10 years, you already own your home. But some of you perhaps moved in the Bay Area in the past 5 years. The home prices are so expensive already. Many of you are potentially you're still renting, but that should not stop you from buying rental properties out of state. As a matter of fact, more than, I would say, 1/3 of our investors that I work with, they do not even own the principal home here in California, but they are already purchased at least one rental properties out of state. So okay, so there you go. So most of the people that are listening in, you have a very good financial profile, because living in California, live in a high cost area, especially in the Bay Area, you have to in order to maintain your standard of living. And and most of you are, half of you are engineers by trade, the other half are in a medical profession, you're nurses or doctors or in a healthcare profession. And the rest of you are financial professionals or some type, working in financial services. And I have to believe that a lot of you are working at home, working remotely. This is the new normal. We'll talk more about that. So yeah, you could continue to have a full-time job, and you'll be able to do it. You can buy unlimited number of out-of-state rental properties and still maintain your full-time job. Isn't that cool? I will show you how, of course, throughout the presentation. Don't worry. All right, so let's go on. So some of you already own 1 or 2 rental property in California, but as you can probably imagine, you're not getting much of cash flow, if any. So you might want to do a 1031 tax-free exchange, or want to diversify out of state so you can achieve cash flow. That's the name of the game, right? Buy in affordable markets. Okay, so that's enough of your financial profile of typical investors. So let's continue with the what's going on with the in the current environment, the post-pandemic real estate investing. So let me say one thing. Let me give you one formula, and again, write this down if necessary. Low inventory plus historic low interest rate equals a hot real estate market. I repeat, low inventory, which is lack of supply of homes, plus historic mortgage interest rate equals, you can pretty much say it's a real estate boom. You can say the word real estate boom, it's happening. So all the doom and gloom you've been hearing out there in the past 6, 7, 8 months, yeah, that's true. It's very, very sad. This COVID-19 is happening, but housing market is still humming along very, very strong. And I will explain why throughout the presentation. So it's not really doom and gloom out there, right? So, all right, so demand exceeds supply. That is so good. So home prices are rising, steadily rising, by the way. If you listen to the local news, or if you would search the YouTube video about real estate, you will clearly see real estate has some positive signs, but we don't know the future. No one have a crystal ball. It all depends on how fast we recover from this pandemic. It all depends on the vaccine situation, how soon they will come into play, but we'll talk more about that. Okay, the best asset class is single family homes, residential investing, okay? Of all the real estate investment asset class, in my opinion, in the opinion of many, single family home residential investing is the best. Oh, by the way, if you have any kind of a background noise, please mute yourself, because I may not know how to do it, even though I'm the host. All right. So what real estate asset class are not doing well during this pandemic crisis? They are not doing well. They are commercial, student university housing, and retail, apartments, multi-units, flipping, short-term rentals, syndications, and what have you. You know, guys, hopefully that one person that log in late, I might have to click the admit button in order to allow him to get in. I'm not sure how to get back into that. Just give me a. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, okay. I admitted the last two person, James and Mike. So sorry, you guys just barely got in. Whew, at least I know how to click that button. All right, so welcome. All right, let's go on. Okay.
Receiving, is that Jody the same, the email address? I don't know. I'm not sure whether that invite was received.
Yeah.
I sent it twice. I didn't get any response.
Yeah, I don't see it on my. Yeah, I do not see it on my participants list. So that's very unfortunate. But again,
Is Mike Burgess is the same email address, because I see the last name as the same. So is that the same person?
yeah, I'm not sure, but I click admit. So Mike Burgess, Mike is in here. Yeah, okay, I see him twice. Hello, Mike. Can you hear me? Mike, if you can put in a chat box to make sure that I think you're in. So I think everybody's in, and okay, all right, let's continue. Sorry for this delay. Technology is kind of very challenging for people to register the last moment, especially when my technical skills are below par. Anyway, let's continue with the with this. So working from home is the wave of the future. Oops. All right. Working from home is the wave of the future. Workers no longer need to be close to their work, and migration into the suburbs. Okay, we are seeing migration from large metros such as San Francisco Bay Area, Southern California, Chicago, all the major cities, Chicago, New York City, the Northeast. People are migrating into the affordable markets. What are some of those affordable markets? The Pacific Northwest and mainly in Southwest, like Idaho, Utah, Arizona, Colorado, Washington, and the Southeast. Southeast, some of the top migrating areas in the Southeast are Florida, Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Oakland, Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee, just to name a few, all right? I don't want to name too many. Okay, before we do that, the book down here, you can find in Amazon, The Big Shift Ahead. What the takeaway from reading a little bit of this book, The Big Shifts Ahead, we're talking migration, we're talking population growth. Once again, the population growth in the US is pretty dramatic, especially in the past 10 years, and will continue to do so. So a lot of families are having a lot of children, a lot of babies, family units getting larger throughout the US. And then when those children become adult, they need a place to, they need houses to rent, houses to buy. So, and the real estate industry is simply not keeping up, right? So the big shift ahead tell you about the economic and population trends and how it affects real estate, the economy, the quality of life, all those kind of things. So just you can get into Amazon and buy this book if you wish. All right, let me look at this little article here. The realistic fact, you look at that right-hand corner, you'll see that the new household formation is, there'll be a lot of millennials, and then everybody needed a place to live, and then the land and building cost is going up. The rent will continue to increase, and the demographics suggest a 10 million home shortages by 2030, which is 10 years away. So a lot of interesting things are going on in the next 10 years and beyond. So the 30 million people that are displaced or not working as a result of the pandemic, they are mostly, in the blue collars, in the hospitality, travel, food service, retail industries, and most of them are renters. And government, what's happening? The government they are trying to prevent a 2008 real estate crash. How are they doing that? The government stimulus programs such as the each state's unemployment insurance, the EIDL loans for self-employed, payroll protection program for self-employed businesses, stimulus checks, eviction and mortgage moratorium, right? People cannot be evicted from the homes they're renting, and the mortgage owners, they cannot be foreclosed as long as the loans are held by the federal backed government loans, right? So at least until December 31st, 2020. So that's why you have not seen any stress out there, any like foreclosures out there because of the government's stimulus programs. All right. Okay. If there's some people, believes the real estate might crash, but I don't think so. Let me tell you why by this graphic comparison. The 2008 crash was mainly caused by the subprime mortgages, meaning anyone who can afford a spoon can qualify for a mortgage. So, so therefore, let's do a quick comparison. So, 2008 real estate crash and recession, a lot of subprime mortgages. Yes. The year 2020, no, there were no subprime mortgages. A lot of people have equity of their home in their homes, and it's very hard to qualify to get a loan these days. You need at least 25% down payment for the most part. So that's a major difference. And another difference between the 2008 crash and 2020 challenges is that homes were, in a way, is not back in 2008. Homes are overpriced. Many people are upside down with their equity, but now 2020, no, homes are not overpriced to the extent that that can cause a house to be upside down. So a lot of people have a lot of stable homes because of the past 10 years that we've seen so much appreciation, especially in California. So a lot of people have equity in their homes. So homes are very, very stable. So 2008, we have a heavy amount of foreclosures. To 2020, not necessarily. So we do not foresee a total crash 2020 and beyond. We don't know, right? No one have a crystal ball, but there will be some pockets of the US where you will see some price corrections, maybe 10 or 20%, but there will be no wave of foreclosure, if you will, right? For the next few years. That's just my prediction. It all depends, right? It all depends on how fast the vaccines becomes available and how soon people get back to work. So remains to be seen. Toward the end of this year, beginning of next year, we'll find out. All right, and this chart down here on the right-hand corner is very interesting. This is a U-Haul trends tracking people using the U-Haul to go from one city to another. And the map of the US, as you can see, the out-migration, the orange color shows people leaving using the U-Haul to get out of Dodge City, if you will. And then the green color is in-migration, shows where are those people moving into. So as a real estate investor, you need to focus on the green dots, right? So here are those green dots. As I briefly mentioned earlier on a previous slide, in the upper left-hand corner, Pacific Northwest, we see Seattle, Portland, Oregon area, Washington area, then Idaho, Boise, Idaho, then, right? Then Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas are good, migration, right? That's the, but bear in mind, as a risk investor, I caution you, do not invest in those areas, and I will show you why in terms of the numbers later on this presentation. So, but the heavy emphasis, as you can see, in the state of Texas, right? People moving to Texas and to North and South Carolina, Georgia, right, and Tennessee. But mostly there are 4 dots, right? There are 4 dots in Texas, and there are like 4 dots in Florida. So it's pretty obvious to me that most people are moving to Florida and Texas. If you can see, people from the Bay Area, the red dot here, and the people in Southern California are moving mostly to Texas, all right? Mostly to Texas. And the people in Northeast, like over here, Chicago, and then area, the Midwest area, and then the Northeast, like, New York City mainly, and surrounding metro. New York City is a huge population, and they are the poster child for the pandemic crisis, New York City. We all heard that, right? So a lot of the people are moving down south, and they're moving mostly to Florida. The 4 areas of Florida, which we'll discuss later in this presentation, in upper northeast corner of Florida is Jacksonville. Then another dot is Central Florida, you can see. Then the remaining 2 dots are in Tampa Metro, and then Southwest Florida, which is Cape Coral, Lehigh Acres, Fort Myers, LaBelle, and Port Charlotte. So those are 4 areas that are affordable, that you as investors can cash flow. Those single family homes in those areas are typically less than 200,000. That's the sweet spot for housing prices, purchases for investors like you guys. Same here in Texas, right? The big 4, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, and Austin. Once again, because especially Austin, which we'll discuss more, because of a high-tech Silicon Valley of the South, I would say that's the best area out of the big 4. Austin would be the best area because the heavy concentration of high-tech. All right, and those home prices, which will cash flow, are typically under 200,000. All right? All right, good, here we go. So, right, so again, I'm quickly gonna go over this. Oh, by the way, here's an orange chart stating that the virus is in charge, right? No treatment, no vaccine, damage to real estate values. If the treatments are found soon, then real estate values will remain stable and will do well, all right? So only time will tell. All right, let's continue with the post-pandemic investing. Again, a lot of people would have to rent because they can't qualify to buy a house. They can't get a loan. Many millennials are delaying home ownership due to fear and to the state of the economy and all that. And the subprime debacle and the crisis back in 2008 has caused lending guidelines to be tightened up. So you need very good credit, at least 20 to 25% down payment, and a good job verification in order to qualify to get a loan these days. Okay? All right. Again, the charts on the right side indicates that the current massive job losses, again, most of them are not homeowners. So, and then the lower chart on the right-hand corner, we'll talk about it in the next couple of slides. The top technology regions. Now, this can be a fun game I want to play briefly. and be prepared to write down your answers on your chat box if you wish to play the game. Okay, you don't have to play the game, but why not, right? So I'll ask you the questions momentarily, but before we do that, let's go over this paragraph here. Many Americans do not have the money for a down payment. Yeah, we discussed that, and there's a lot of doom and gloom out there for the mainstream media. If I were you, I will avoid the news because the news is always bad news, right? That's how they sell the news. So a lot of those news media are always paint a doom and gloom picture all the time. So do not pay attention to news too often. All right, so here are some interesting topics that I want to share with you. So I want some sort of participation from our audience right now. Top technology regions. This list is in random order. It is not in order of rank, all right? As a risk investor that you are, for those of you participating right now, what do the following names mean? 1, Silicon Valley. 2, Silicon Hills. 3, Florida High-Tech Corridor, Space Coast. 4, Rocket City, Space Jam. I just put that in there. Space Jam is a movie I think was made by Michael Jordan like 20 years ago. Some of you are old enough to remember that movie. Space Jam, Michael Jordan. Rocket City. 5, Silicon Forest. 6, Silicon Beach. 7, Silicon Prairie. 8, Research Triangle. 9, Dulles Tech Corridor. And 10, Bring Power Triangle. So with that in mind, I'm going to pause my presentation for a couple of minutes, and I'm going to welcome your chat box. I have my chat box in front of you. Please go ahead and write down, what do you think? What are some of the answers? I'm not going to wait too long, okay? Some of you may not want to participate. Do you know some of the answers? Write down in your chat box right now. Fair enough? Does any one of you want to verbally say something, answer some of them? You want me to repeat it once again? Okay, let me repeat once again. Silicon Valley, Silicon Hills, Florida High-Tech Corridor, Rocket City, Silicon Forest, Silicon Beach, Silicon Prairie, Research Triangle, Dulles Tech Corridor, Bring Power Triangle. Any thoughts? Okay, I'm not gonna wait too long, okay? You guys taking too long. Okay, give up. Here's the answer. Are you ready? The drum roll, please. All right. Oh, Silicon Valley, that's easy, right? We are here, right here in Silicon Valley. All right, that's simple. Silicon Hills, Austin, Texas. Florida High-Tech Corridor, Space Coast. That's in Palm Bay. That is in 1 hour east of Orlando. Florida High-Tech Corridor, Space Coast. You know, what's his name? Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. They are involved in the private space program out there. All right, and number 4, Rocket City, Huntsville, Alabama. Number 5, Silicon Forest, Seattle, Washington. Number 6, Silicon Beach, Southern California. Number 7, Silicon Prairie, Dallas Metroplex. Number 8, Research Triangle. That is in North Carolina. That is Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Dulles Tech Corridor, Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. Metro, which Amazon going to have a second headquarters there, in case you do not know, in Arlington, Virginia. All right. And finally, number 10, Brain Power Triangle. That would be Boston Metro, where Harvard, MIT are located. All right. So how many of you got some of them right? A handful of you. So you guys are newbie, I suspect, right? Newbie, brand new investors. I know you guys have a long way to go. Oh, by the way, some of you at the end of the presentation will take this information and run with it. You know what that means? Run with it. You're gonna take action pretty quick. Some of you will still need to digest some more because you're a newbie, right? You're new in this. So you have a sort of a high learning curve, right? A steep learning curve. And you guys need to learn more. And the rest of you, whether you are listening here in presentation or from out there, will take forever, if at all, to pull the trigger, to take action. So it's up to each individual, each one of you. If you have the motivation, if you have the drive, if you have the determination, right? If you're extremely motivated and committed to your goal, you can do this. You can do this out of state investing pretty successfully, all right? Okay, all right, let's go on. All right, so what else is going on in this market? So just so you know what's going on right now? Very challenging. What's going on in the real estate investing market? The properties you think you might be willing to purchase. Let me clearly tell you what's going on with that situation. Those properties that are cash flow properties in a different part of the market, like mainly in South and Southeast, multiple offers for homes. Yep. I already told you, right? There's a total lack of inventory everywhere, not just the Bay Area, right? Multiple offers, many offers for each home. You know, it depends on what neighborhood, what house, those kind of things. But from a high level perspective, almost every market in the country, you could make an argument, there's a lack of supply, there's a low inventory, and just people are bidding. I mean, multiple offers, 10, 20, 30 offers to buy homes to live and or to buy investment homes like you guys wish to, those kind of situations. But yeah, all cash offers wins, but it's okay if you come in with a pre-approval, loan pre-approval with 25% down typically, then you stand a good chance. You will get what you want. Not right away, depending on what market, what neighborhood, what price point, all those scenarios. But if you're persistent, you will get what you want. All right, so because of the multiple offers, many of the homes will be sold at higher than list price, obviously. And a lot of these investment homes are, they stay on the market for only a few days. And many investors throughout the country, including you guys, and throughout the world, they buy sight unseen, especially with the pandemic, right? Most people are afraid to travel anyway, but it's okay. People have been buying rental homes, investment homes, sight unseen for many years. Well, ever since I've been doing this for more than 15 years ago. But in light of the pandemic, most people have no choice but to buy sight unseen. I know it sounds very scary, very freak a lot of people out, but it's doable because it's the wave of the future, right? Yeah, you can still physically go and see the property before or after you buy on a normal market, not right now during the pandemic. Some of you still can travel, right? But you don't have to. Okay, I'll explain why. You can buy turnkey properties If you buy from a trusted resource, you can still buy sight unseen, pandemic or not. Okay, that's the way of the future. So this little article at the bottom indicates that yeah, even during this challenging economic environment we're facing right now, there are still a lot of jobs out there. This one little article indicates in Texas there are 481,000 jobs available all across Texas, according to the governor. See, so things are, still doing well. So today's world is changing at an exponential speed. This is the age of technology and information. Those who cannot change and adapt will be left behind. Real estate investing is no different. And this article, this chart at the bottom indicates that what's going on during this COVID-19 situation. Office buildings are, the remote work is surging, and retail buildings, people doing online shopping, surging, and then apartment buildings, tenants are fleeing the dense communal living situations. All right, so that's what's happening. The future of real estate investing is live where we live, invest where the numbers make sense, and the numbers make sense are in out of state, right? So that's the foundation of this class anyway. So you'll learn more about that, of course. And so more and more people are adopting this approach. So there's live where you want to live, invest where the numbers make sense. So, and I will show you where the numbers will make sense for the duration of this slideshow. So most of your research can be done in the internet. So at the bottom, paragraph shows that the people are transitioning away from apartments and into single-family homes. That's the, as I mentioned before, the best real estate asset class is clearly single-family home investing. People are downsizing, right? The recession is forcing some people to downsize to more affordable homes, right? People moving away from high-cost areas such as the Bay Area and other major metros. All right. So the picture below, it says, the article below, it says, right now it's one of the greatest moves in the suburbs since the 1950s, 1960s. People are migrating into smaller metros for social distancing, more space, more affordable, lower housing prices, larger homes, affordable, all those kind of things, which will be discussed. All right, the three important concepts you need to understand right now, which is I created myself years ago. This is I authored this three acronyms, if you will. They are, well, not OPM, okay? I did not author that, but I did author OPK and OPL. But let's go over OPM. OPM is other people's money, right? You leverage your asset, you leverage your real estate investing with OPM. OPM really means you're leveraging your good debt. You're getting a mortgage. That's essentially what it means. When you leverage your investment to the extent of using only 20 to 25% of your money and get a loan for 75% loan to value, getting a mortgage, especially now with a mortgage rate, which is on a historical low. That's one of the reasons for the pent up demand for real estate. So I know what you've been hearing. I know we're at a zero interest rate environment out there, but it's really not 0%. If you're going to buy a principal home, owner occupied, the interest rate is really below 3%, right? But we're talking investment loans. Investment loans, non-owner occupied, if you will, investment loans rates are, just so you know, currently is anywhere from 3% to 4%. 3% if you buy a single family home rental property, of at least $100,000 or more, typically 25% down payment with 3%, maybe a 3.1, 3.2, depending on how many points you're gonna put on a loan. But if you're gonna buy a duplex or triplex or fourplex, you need 25% down payment, and the interest rate was probably going to be higher, like 3.8, maybe 4%. Okay, don't call me. I'm not a loan agent, but that's what my investment loan agent has told me uh, recently. So still, great deal. So you borrow with cheap money, which is amazing. Amazing. This is remember back in, well, most of you do not remember. I don't know how old are you, but I go back to 1980s, the early 1980s, throughout the 1980s. You know what are the interest rate? 10, 13, 15%. And people are still buying real estate. People are still getting loans at that rate during the old days. Imagine that, right? And so if you do not take advantage of this historical low rate to leverage your investment homes now or in the next few years, then you're really, really missing the boat. I'm sure you agree with me. This is amazing. By having a low interest rate, you're buying more houses you can afford, and then because your mortgage payment are so low that you could have more cash flow, right? So it's a tremendous win-win situation for you as a real estate investor moving forward. Agree? Of course you agree. All right, so OPM, clearly. So, we all know you can buy with cash. If you have the money, you can buy a home with cash. That's great. You have a free and clear income producing real estate asset. But if you have a goal of buying numerous rental properties and you have somewhat of a limited financial resources, down payment, if you will, then it behooves you to leverage your investments with a mortgage, 25% down mortgage typically. All right? So that's OPM, other people's money. Now OPK is other people's knowledge. I know you look at yourself, what is your skill set? What is your technical ability? Some of you are already have a well-versed in real estate education, in financial education in general. Some of you, Americans are raised in a way that money is taboo, and many people lack basic financial education, the majority of the US population, for that matter, right? So I don't know your unique financial background, but even if you're very well versed in money concepts and real estate investing and all that, you have done a lot of training already before you came to me on this presentation. If you're going to maximize your ability to become a serious real estate investor and buy out-of-state properties, you must incorporate this concept, OPK, other people's knowledge. You need to surround yourself with a team, with a trusted team, which is not easy to find, right? You need to surround yourself with a tax accountant, a CPA, a certified public accountant, or enrolled agent, whatever. Furthermore, you need to surround yourself with a trusted mentor, a real estate coach, like that, right? That can work closely with you to understand your goals and objectives. You need to establish relationships. You're not a lone ranger. Even lone ranger have a Tonto as a partner. Hi-oh, silver. Anyway, right? So you need to surround yourself with a financial team, a asset protection attorney, a financial coach, real estate coach, a tax accountant, a good investment loan agent, a great property manager, those kind of things. You need to leverage the technical expertise of other financial professionals to help you, right, to invest in real estate. That's OPK. Make sense? Don't think you're know-it-all. You need to respect your team. You need to leverage them. That will help you, right? You will. Besides, I know as a real estate investor, you don't know everything by yourself. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know all the important concepts. And the things you do not know, you delegate. You delegate to your CPA, to your financial coach, to your loan agent, to your asset protection attorney, those kind of things. Does that make sense? So OBK is very powerful. Work as a team. You know what's my definition of a team? Together, everyone achieve more. Oh yeah, I just remember. Say it again. I say it again. Write it down. TEAM. Teamwork. Team. Working as a team is paramount to your success as a listed investor. The team, my definition of a team, once again, is together, everyone achieve more. All right. Oh, I love this. I love my job. Actually, I don't have a job. What I'm doing is not a job. It's I don't know. Is fun because I work smart. I do not work hard. Okay, so it's all about passive income, right? Make your money work hard, not work hard for your money. Get out of the rat race. Agree? That's why you guys are attending my class. And lastly, the third formula acronym that critical is OPL, other people's labor. Guess what? You can become a out-of-state investor. Doesn't matter where you live. Whether you live in California, no, it doesn't matter whether you live in Timbuktu, whether you live in Hawaii, or whether you live in Fiji, okay, in self-isolation forever, you can still invest in real estate. So OPL, other people's labor, by the way. Some of you may have some construction background, or you like to fix things, right? But I caution you, right? If you are working full time, you're not gonna have time to do everything yourself. You're not gonna have time to fix your own property, to deal with the tenants and toilets and all that. Because I don't. I never touch a nail or use a hammer. I do not get physically dirty. I don't need to. I look at the numbers. I look at investing very differently. I look at the numerical formulas, the numbers, the returns, and all that stuff, and I pull the trigger. Okay, often sight unseen. A lot of homes that I purchased over the years, and a lot of my investors, they have never seen their houses. They just receive mailbox money. Oh my goodness, so much fun. All right, so other people's labor is no tenants and toilets. By the way, the property you're gonna buy, do you know what? Because you leverage off a competent property management at that location, you will never need to see a tenant. You will never you will never need to talk to the tenant. You don't even know who they are. You will never shake hands with them, talk to them, whatever, unless you want to. But everything are done by the property managers. The future of this investing, you surround yourself with OPL, other people's labor. Let the property managers, let the local construction crews, the contracting workers do all the labor intensive work on your behalf. Okay? And there are some very good rehabbers, contractors, property managers will do all the work for you. They will fix your property. They will do all the cosmetic repairs necessary because they have a team on the ground that can do everything on your behalf. You just sit tight wherever you are, enjoy your life, focus your energy on take care of yourself, achieving the quality of life for yourself and your family, your children, your loved ones. Go travel, do whatever you want, and let other people and apply these three concepts, do all the work for you: OPM, OPK, and OPL. All right, so I'm done. So very important. All right, how to design your real estate portfolio. I know everybody's situation is different, but I'll give you a big picture. Although you can buy with cash, but if you buy with cash, your return is going to be lower, right? Because you're not using leverage. But if you have a lot of cash, you know, if you have $1 million, $2 million of cash, yeah, you can buy 3 or 4 properties all cash. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But the wise choice would be use leverage, use loans. The Fannie Mae lending guidelines allow you to get up to 10 mortgages per person. If you're a husband and wife, both of you work full time, you have a good job, right? Each one of you can qualify for at least 10 Fannie Mae lending best mortgages each. So a husband and wife both marry, you can buy 20 rental properties with 20 mortgages. But let's say only one of you qualify to get mortgages. The wife is a part-time person, not a wife. I mean your spouse, okay? I want to be politically correct. So if only one of you qualify to get mortgages on the Fannie Mae lending guideline, you can get up to 10 mortgages with the favorable historical interest rate, which I alluded to earlier. All right? So 10 mortgages, anywhere from 3 to 4% interest rate, depending on the type of properties and all that. When you max out on these 10 mortgages, then you have to go commercial. A commercial loan, which is 5 unit or higher, if you wish to pursue that strategy. Otherwise, if you max out on your 10 mortgages, buying single family home, duplex, triplex, and fourplex, 1 to 4 unit, or under the Fannie Mae lending guideline, 10 mortgage max with a 3 to 4% interest rate. All right? So if you want to continue to buy single family homes beyond your maximum, which you have already achieved, then you may have to, if you do not want to do commercial loans, commercial properties, then if you want to continue to buy 1 to 4 units, and you're already maxed out, you can do portfolio loans, right? Private loans that you will be charged, I don't know, 5, 6, 7% interest rate, pay 2 or 3 points. And then the loans may not be 30-year amortized, could be 10-year ARM, or 15-year, 30-year amortized, but adjustable rate, whatever. I'm not a loan agent, so consult one of your team, one of our team, whatever, right? So, or you can go with government VA foreclosures, which I will talk about next week, right? A lot of you registered for part 2 next Saturday, same back time, same back channel. I will talk about VA foreclosures and investing using your retirement plans, use your IRA next week. Okay, most of you registered for part 2, right? Today's part 1. Although if you register for part 1 for this presentation, for this class, you do not necessarily need part 2, right? Unless you want to. So I don't know who you are, which one of you did those things. All right, so it makes sense? All right, then the second category, as you can see, using your using your IRA, individual retirement account to purchase. We'll talk more about that next week on part 2. Using your IRA to buy investment real estate in the name of your IRA, not in your name. All right, and then the third paragraph I have here is another key would be, let me use my glasses. My eyesight is not that great anymore. Okay, the other part, I will talk about that next few slides, by using turnkey, remote, and sight unseen passive investing approach. Everything's already done for you, all right? Keep that in mind. And then there's no US housing market per se, but rather thousands of micro markets, thousands of sub-markets out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And yep, of all, each market, each neighborhood have their own unique personality. Some have already recovered, some are close to recovering, some have a long way to go. The key is to buy in a sub-market, in a particular neighborhood, in a particular city, in a particular suburbs, which we'll discuss throughout today's presentation. Okay, just hold that thought for a second. So, yeah, all right, everybody get that? Continue with the how to design and build your real estate portfolio. By the way, you need to buy more than one rental in order to achieve your goal. It all depends on, again, your ambition, your motivation, your drive, all those mental attributes that you need in order to be successful, right? Not just material, financial resources you have available. Okay, buy for geographic diversification. Do not put all your eggs in one basket, okay? The numbers make sense now. What, okay, I'm gonna, oh, what did I do there? Hello? Okay, the numbers make sense now. High cash on cash return, high return on investments, rent to value ratio, and high cash flow. We'll talk more about that. Buy and hold forever. Why sell? Why sell your rental property? Because if you sell your rental property too early, you could kill the goose to lay the golden egg. Okay? All right. So, oh, how come I have an echo? What did I do wrong? Did I inadvertently click something? Some of you are technical person out there, my participants. Did I inadvertently click a button? I have an echo. You guys can still hear me well, right? No echo?
Yeah.
You're not hearing any echo out there?
No.
All right.
No,
okay.
you.
Okay. No, right? Okay, let's go on. Let's go on. So, all right. Next slide. So these 4 formulas will make or break your investing career. Okay, I hate to be so dramatic. All right, okay, you guys need to write these down. Or we can talk about it on a Q&A later. So the number 1 is rent to value ratio. It needs to be anywhere from 0.07 to 1%. Okay, keep that in mind. The 1% rule, or slightly less. The 1% rule means if you're gonna buy a $100,000 property, rental property, multiply by 1%, then your monthly rent before any deductions, your monthly rent, the renter will pay you about $1,000. I'll say it again. The 1% rule is the rent to value ratio. In fact, this rule could be the most important for you. Even though the other 2 formula I will discuss will just as important, but this rule is the most important. I said again, as a real estate investor, if you want to achieve positive cash flow after all your debt obligations and after all your expenses are done, you must achieve the 1% rule, or maybe slightly lower than 1%, depending on what you buy. I will discuss that more later. So if you buy a property, investment property for 100,000, multiply by 1%, you need to get a rent of close to 1,000, 900 to 1,000. Does that make sense? Then you will cash flow for sure at 25% down payment, right? So when you buy a property for 150,000, multiply by 1%, so the monthly rent the tenant will be paying you is 1,500. But it depends on what area. Sometimes in certain area, you may not be able to reach the complete 1%. Slightly less than 1% is okay, like 0.07. or 0.08 or 1%, which is doable, which is fine. So $150,000 property, you may not get $1,500 rent, but you may get $1,300 or $1,350, but that's fine. So the higher the housing price, like if it is like 200,000 rental homes you're gonna buy, you're not gonna achieve 1%, you're gonna achieve maybe 0.07%, which is fine. So 0.07 of 1% is like 1,650, maybe 1,700, maybe even 1,800. That's good, that's good. But if you could buy a property or cheaper, like $50,000 or $75,000 investment property, you will most likely, if you buy in a good area, gonna have more than 1% rent to value ratio. I will show you later, okay? Hold that thought, okay? And the second formula is capitalization rate, okay? The technical definition of capitalization rate is the net operating income divided by the purchase price. You know what that means? Okay, I'll explain to you in a very, very simple way. So the net operating income, meaning the capitalization rate, is a sort of a commercial rate associated with commercial investment, but we can apply this in a single family home rental situation. What it means is you identify the annual gross income minus the annual taxes, annual insurance, and annual property management fee, whatever is the amount, divided by the purchase price. So the way you calculate the capitalization rate is a pure historical return. It does not factor in the mortgages. I say it again. I know it's not easy. I know it's just the capitalization rate is net operating income divided by the purchase price. So that means your annual income, gross income minus your annual taxes, annual insurance, annual property management fees, and divided by your purchase price equals your capitalization rate, your cap rate. So your cap rate should be higher than 6%. The higher the cap rate, the higher the cash flow. So keep that in mind for right now. And cash on cash return, very important. Cash on cash return is an annual cash flow divided by the cash invested. Okay? So what that means, so what you do is you calculate how do you determine cash on cash return is look at your monthly and net cash flow, right? Your net cash flow is your gross income minus your mortgage, taxes, insurance, property management fee equals net monthly cash flow, right? Your net monthly cash flow divided by your total down payment equals your cash and cash return, right? So your cash and cash return could be around need to be at least 8%, sometimes as high as 30%. Okay, so if you achieve double digit in cash and cash return, you're good to go. But we'll go with that formula momentarily. And total return on investment is your annual net cash flow plus your principal pay down plus your first year of projected appreciation rate. You add the total of these three divided by your total down payment equals your total return on your investment, total ROI. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. I think you acknowledge that. All right, let's go over the benchmark. Okay, hold on one second. Let me walk away for a couple of seconds here. Okay, so sorry. Anyway, I have to get my cup of water. By the way, if you want, I will continue with my presentation. You can walk away if you want, of course, a restroom break or a water break, whatever. Okay, so let's recap about the numerical formulas. Like I said, 0.07 to 1% is the rental value ratio. Cap rate needs to be at least 6% if it is a new construction type of properties. And then cash on cash return needs to be at least 8%. That would be the benchmark, all right? So number 3, typically 10% cash on cash return if it is new construction in the south and southeast area of the US. That's what's going on in real life, in the real world. And then if you're gonna buy property, cheaper properties in the Midwest that are that have a higher cash flow, then the return on cash is could be as high as 15 to 20%. So so there are really 2 ways you can buy rental properties, turnkey rental properties out of state. Is that's 2 sort of a system, if you will, or concept. One, you buy in the Midwest area. Okay, you buy in the Midwest area. Homes are a lot older, but very very cheap, comparatively speaking. But the rent is very high. So you can buy a $50,000 property that can rent for $850 or even $1,000. So that's a really awesome return. But there's pros and cons I will discuss momentarily, right? And then the other purchase methodology, if you will, is to you buy new construction in the good markets in the south and southeast area. Typically, new construction for like 150,000. Typically rents for 1250, right? A little bit less than 1% ratio, which is rent to value ratio, not bad. Or if a new construction costs 175,000, it rents for typically around 1450. That's how you can, that's how it is. If you want to buy a new construction, single family home, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, or even 4 bedroom, 2 bath, 1 car garage in a good area, for 200,000, you expect to rent it for 1650, maybe, give or take. And then the maximum threshold, you can buy single family home, investment home, especially new construction in a good market, is around, do not exceed 245,000 because the rent are not going to be able to match up, right? So 245K, I would say that's the maximum threshold you can tolerate. The rent will be around 1,900 to 2,000. Then you will cash flow pretty nicely. Make sense? All right. Let's go on. Where to buy? Okay, we're getting some nitty gritty. You guys doing okay? You want to drink your second cup of coffee? Please do so. Maybe I need one. Honey, can you give me a second cup of coffee? I need a second cup of coffee. I'm serious. I'm asking my wife to give me a second cup of coffee. Okay, all right. She said too much caffeine. I've been drinking too much coffee lately. Should decline my offer. Hello, guys. Oh boy. I hear you guys laughing. It's okay. Hey, I like to have fun, by the way, right? In a way, this is a serious matter. You're using your hard-earned money to buy real estate. I get it. Let's have some fun together. I love to. Sometimes I'm crazy. Sometimes I'm just. I like to be out there. I like to just push the button. You know what I mean? Push the button. I like that. Yeah, I'm a positive kind of guy. You need to be positive, right? Otherwise, how can you do this, right? You need to have a good mindset. You need to be relatable. Be nice if you're very sociable. We can relate to people, open-minded, communicate. That is really the attribute of a successful investor. Get along with people, respect each other, right? Leverage each other's resources and knowledge and skill set, those kind of things. work as a team, right? Look, I've been in the U.S. Army all these years, right? For 20 years. How I survived for 20 years in the Army? You know how hard that is? Because we work as a team, you know? I mean, it's just, you know, I learned a lot by being in the military. I'll be honest with you. In fact, I wouldn't be where I am right now in my career professionally or whatever if I did not have this great experience, you know, of all the things that I've done in the military. They provide me with great training. They gave me a whole bunch of benefit. I have a lifetime pension income. I've been getting the minute you retire at 20 years, one could retire at, one can enter the US military at age 18, for example, and serve for 20 years and retire at age 38 and receive a lifetime military pension income along with the free medical for lifetime for the soldier, for the retiree and the spouse, and all the benefits. You know what benefit I have gotten that allow me to leverage in real estate? I'm able to get 0% down VA loans, Veteran Administration loan. I was able to buy numerous properties using the benefit, using their VA loan, 0% down payment for military veterans. That has been part of my portfolio, by the way. I don't want to, you know, dwell on it, right? The minute way to buy real estate, okay? So I happen to leverage using my military service and background. Anyway, so let's go on. All right. So what was I before I inadvertently digressed? Where to buy? Where to buy? Don't you guys want that? Drill rum, please. Somebody can play a drum. Drill rum, where to buy? That is the name of the game. That is what you pay your big bucks for. How much you pay for this class? You're getting a lot of value, okay? I'm giving you practical information you'll probably not be able to get in many other sources, all right? Where to buy? Okay. I know some of you guys are saying, Mr. Yi, let's proceed. I ain't got all day long. All right, I get it, all right. Woohoo. All right, population migration. You look at the trends, right? Over the next several decades, where are the people moving to, right? Okay, Rust Belt, quote, end quote, Rust Belt states, manufacturing, industrial base, move away from there, right? I mean, try not to do, I'm not gonna contradict myself, but some of, you know, I do want to make a recommendation. You should buy a percentage of your real estate portfolio in the Midwest, the so-called, you know, Midwest, right? I'll show you where it is. Okay, I'll tell you where it is right now, okay? Midwest is the cold weather areas like you know, Cleveland, Ohio, Indianapolis, Indiana, Cincinnati, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan, Buffalo, Niagara Falls, New York, or St. Louis, Missouri, or, you know, one of these areas are good investment areas for investors like such as yourself, right? Right? They are, but a small portion of your portfolio, maybe 30%, because of high cash flow. I'll talk more about that. Hold tight. All right, so they are Rust Belt state. You know, I would not want to live there. All right, so I'm a warm weather person. I'm a warm-blooded animal. Most of you guys are. That's why you live in the Bay Area, right? Or California. So, you know, blue collar, working class demographics, okay. Old houses, old neighborhood. Essentially, the upper half of the U.S. So, again, physically, I don't want to go there. I don't want to live there, but I don't mind invest a moderate portion of my real estate portfolio in the Midwest. Nothing wrong, okay? Because you're buying for cash flow. Does that make sense? I will explain later. Oh, on this picture over here, on the lower right-hand corner, I just saw the article in a San Francisco paper. or rent in the San Francisco Bay Area, or plummeting, people are in the high-tech region or bracing for a exodus, mass exodus into the suburbs and out of state. Okay, so yeah, this is the new normal. We're seeing some dramatic changes as a result of the pandemic. Okay, this slide will talk about the buying in a high cash flow market. I would say again, it all depends. You know, everybody have a unique belief system, whatever. But let's say you have a goal of buying 10 rental properties. I know this is very ambitious, but this is just a, you know, a discussion forum. Let's say you have a portfolio, you want to buy 10 properties, all financing. So how you design your portfolio, for example, out of the 10 properties, you know, it would not be wrong for you, out of the 10 property you're going to buy in the next couple of years, for example, to buy 2 or 3, maybe even 4 of the properties out of the 10 in the Midwest market, because potentially, if you choose the right people to buy, to work with, the right company to work with, the 3 or 4 property you buy in the Midwest will achieve a tremendous amount of cash flow. And I will talk about that. But there are pros and cons, right? So you determine what's right for you as an investor. I can't tell you, right? Everybody's situation is different. Your goals are different. Your mindset is different. Your financial resources is different. So it's all about, you know, what's your goal? It's all about what you want. So with respect to Midwest market, here are the, you can see the picture on the right-hand corner is a C class. It's a C class asset class. What does it mean by, what does it mean by C class? C class means like an older neighborhood. The quality of the tenant is, you know, a little bit below par. And the properties are a lot older, right? Midwest, that's what we talked about. And so the pros and cons, the pros are the returns are very high, at least on paper, right? The pros, the purchase price is very low. So your out-of-pocket down payment is very, very low, right? But the rent to value ratio is very high. So when you factor in a 25% down payment, when you buy a $50,000 or $70,000 property in the Midwest, that will give you a rent of like $1,000 or $1,300. Excuse me for 1 second. My wife obliged. She gave me a second cup of coffee. So give me 1 second. Look. Thank you, darling. Woo. Okay, that gives me a lot of energy and I will march on. I want to be energetic. I know you guys are passively listening, which is fine. But, you know, you might want to get out of your seat and do some jumping jacks or push-ups or sit-ups like I used to do for 20 years in the military. Actually, I still do that right now. Look, I'm a fitness nut, okay? I exercise, I run every day for the past 40 years, long distance running.
Wow.
So I love to be fit. I love to be healthy. I eat good. I travel a lot. I want to live a long life because I'm going to maximize my real estate portfolio, maximize my real estate income, passive income, so I can enjoy the quality of my life. Life is so precious. So I don't know what is your motivation, you guys out there, but achieving financial freedom allow you to do everything what you're meant to do, right? And not rely on your job, right? Get out of the rat race so you can travel, care for others, right? And create a legacy for yourself and your family and your children with your abundance of real estate wealth and all that. Does it make sense? So
Yeah.
you have to really ask yourself, what's important about money to you, right? What's important about financial freedom to you, okay? So once you're able to have a unique understanding then you have the motivation to take action to get where you are right now to where you want to be uh, in the wealth building journey. Does it make sense? So, it's fine. It's fine that I'm teaching you all these great concepts, but unless you have the self motivation and the drive to take action, to overcome fear, and none of this time you spent with me for this morning will go to waste, right? So we don't want that. The time is precious. Each day we go by, you do not do something, is a day you wasted. You cannot make up that day that you lost, right? It's gone forever. So each day, do something impactful for yourself, right? Be productive, okay? So instead of wait to buy real estate and wait, okay? All right. I'm sure you guys agree, right? I wish there's a button you can push and show me a thumbs up. I don't know. I'm bad at technology. I'm old school. I don't know how to do that. Some of you know what I'm talking about. All right. Um, this financial worksheet is what you call pro forma. There's a lot of technical term you have to learn. Pro forma means, this financial formula. This is a cash flow analysis. Okay. So again, the numbers are quite small. I should have made it bigger. But at the end of the day, this property is a typical Midwest property. Now, when you replay this video, you can get a copy of this video, by the way. When you replay it, you might want to go over the formula, which I'm going to go over with you right now. And I'll be very brief, okay? I mean, I know this graphic, if this property is located in Midwest, is priced at $47,500. This is, by the way, this is a real property. It's priced at $45,500. It rents for $950. Yeah, no, $850. So it's already way above 1% rule, right? And then at 25% down payment, you minus all the monthly mortgage, taxes, insurance, property management fees, and vacancy, 5% vacancy factor, 5% maintenance factor, and your net monthly cash flow on the right-hand corner, I know it's hard to see, is net monthly cash flow $330 times 12 months. Your annual net cash flow is $3,951, right? So you look at the numbers in the upper right-hand corner, you will see the rent-to-value ratio on this property is 1.8%. This is amazing, right? Way more than 1% rule. And then the capitalization rate is 13%. Oh, this is way, way high. Capitalization rate 13%. Cash on cash return is 32%, right? Because you're using leverage, you're using a loan at 75% loan to value, at 25% down payment. So 32% cash on cash return, that means in a little bit over 3 years, you can recoup all your down payment money, right? Get all that? Total ROI, total return on investment, is 44%. If you include the principal pay down in the first year and the projected 2% of annual appreciation, plus the annual net cash flow divided by your total down payment equals 44% total return on investment. Does that make sense? Okay, the pros and cons, right? The cons are, the properties in this Midwest area not going to appreciate that much, if at all, right? Yeah. So you take the good with the bad. So, okay, next. The second scenario, this is a duplex. It's not that many duplex and triplex and fourplex available anywhere in the U.S. Okay, and if you want to buy high cash flow properties at very low cost, the Midwest could be a good area for you to pull the trigger. So I'll give you another sample of a duplex in the so-called Midwest area, all right? And this property, I know it's hard to see, I apologize, But again, this duplex could, I know he's about 80 years old, 100 years old, but they've been rehabbed properly, right? You find yourself a good team that, to provide good service, that rehab the property completely turnkey and put a renter in there, it's doable. There are companies out there, you have to do some more research, find the right turnkey provider that will be able to provide you with this kind of turnkey properties, although they're very old, 80 years old, even 100 years old. But if they've been properly rehabbed, new electrical system, new furnace, new heater, a new roof, or whatever, then your old homes, that house that you bought in the Midwest could last you 10, 20 years before you have to replace the roof. And the annual maintenance costs on this kind of properties, like 5 to 8% of your rent, typically, right? The cosmetic repairs, the maintenance out of pocket, they can come. The vacancy factor is 5 to 8% of your gross rent. So you have to factor all those numbers in to make sure you have a realistic numeric crunching analysis. Does it make sense? All right. So a duplex like this, 47,000 can rent for $1,000 on both doors. Now each unit rents for 500, right? Total of 1,000. Imagine that. So your net cash flow, it could be like $400 monthly when you factor in the mortgage obligation, your taxes, insurance, 5% maintenance fee, 5% vacancy factor, and still net around $400 net monthly. So they give you a very high cap rate, very high cash and cash return, et cetera, et cetera. So this property, like a B to B minus, the tenants are not, that high quality, and not too much appreciation, but it's nothing wrong. Okay, you get that? So sometimes, you can buy ugly houses and it'll meet your goal. It'll get the return. You will get the mailbox money. So, so don't discriminate against pretty and ugly. You know what I mean? So if you want to buy a beautiful house, it's like dating a model, dating a beautiful model. Hey, it's gonna cost you. If you want to date like a Cindy Crawford or what's her name, Christine Brinkley, it'll cost you. If you want to date a girl next door or a boy next door for that matter, okay, I'll be gender neutral. If you want to date a girl next door, a boy next door, you buy the Midwest. It'll come kind of cheap, but that that girl or boy next door is will make you a good partner, good spouse, right? It'll take care of you. Okay. All right. They come with a, okay. I digress. Okay.
Don't get carried away.
What's that now?
Don't get too carried away.
Hey, this is my second cup of coffee, right? I can't. Thank you for participating. I love your input. Okay, so I don't want to feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay, so that's
Yep.
why I miss the live classes.
Yeah, everybody does.
I know, but
Yep.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Right. So in Midwest, you can go buy a single family home as cheap as 40 grand, and you get financing. Buy duplex cheap. If the market, if the neighborhood is good, it appraises correctly, you can get financing. There are lenders out there that are willing to finance these little loans. Imagine you could easily buy $40,000 with cash or with the IRA, whatever, right? With the individual retirement account. But why? If you can qualify for financing, you can get a loan for these cookie cutter cheap Midwest homes, leverage to a 25% down payment, right? And so all you need is like 13 grand total down payment to buy this cheap Midwest property that have a very good rental market, that have that the tenant your tenant could live there for 3 to 5 years or longer, right? So, and you cash flow nicely, $300 to $400 net cash flow. So your return is going to be high. So you have to give away, you know, the appreciation factor in the Midwest is a much older home, those kind of things. But just have an open mind, right? You know, you buy investment for returns on investment, not necessarily how pretty or how, you know, how, okay. All right. Okay. Now we talk about emerging markets, right? For those of you that want to date Christian Brinkley, or, okay, if you're a female, like, let me think of a person you should, let me use an analogy. If you are a female investor, if you want to date Brad Pitt, or George Clooney, or Denzel Washington, for those of you females out there, then you're gonna have to pay more. So with that said, you should buy in the emerging market. Emerging market, what does that mean? Warm weather, sun belt, right? Sunshine all year round, right? You know, just like, you know, California type of quality of life, but not in California. Forget about California investments, okay? So, jobs, cutting edge technology, strong, diverse economic base, low cost of living, low taxes, recreation, retirement, lifestyle, outdoors, new neighborhoods, emerging market, path of growth. That is the emerging market. So attracting this kind of markets, attracting a lot of millennials, a lot of retirees, baby boomers, echo boomers, and the property, the rental property, the turnkey rental property you're gonna buy are in A- to B plus neighborhood, okay? You know what does that mean? That means here's a typical A neighborhood, higher prices, typically above 130K, up until 240K, right? We talk about that. A little bit lower rental value ratio, 0.07% or 1%, right? A little bit less than 1% rule. A little bit less than cap rate, 6% cap rate, 7% capitalization rate, cash on cash return around, you know, 13% at 25% down payment. But you get a higher appreciation potential, right? You get a lower vacancy rate, you get a higher quality tenant, right? And oh, above all, when you buy new construction, wow, I'll talk more about that. You know, new construction, very little maintenance. That's the key, right? So so this is a typical property in those markets, South and Southeast. So again, I need to make this worksheet bigger so you can see the numbers, because the numbers are so small. I'm just gonna recap it in a high level. This property, for example, new construction in the South and Southeast kind of situation. For example, $175,000. Okay, typically, it rents for $1,450, and you put 25% down payment. So when it's all said and done, your monthly cash flow is around $450. But by the way, if you have a 3% mortgage rate, so your cash flow can be higher than $430. Your cash flow could be as high as almost $500 monthly cash flow. Isn't that amazing? Only 25% down. So your total down payment, including closing costs, is around, you know, $40,000 to $45,000, right? You get a mortgage, then with a rent at $1,450, so net cash flow almost $500 monthly, which is pretty good, right? The capitalization rate, you know, 7%. Yeah, 7.5%. Cash on cash return, like 13%. Rent to value ratio is 0.09, you know, almost 1%, which is good. Okay, so that's what you get when a new construction, 175K in a path of growth, and all that stuff. And then there, this is the duplex. Yeah, the next slide here. Any type of good multi-units, duplex, triplex, and fourplex in a country is very, very hard to find. Very hard to find, trust me. Only in few neighborhoods, in few markets, you can find high quality, new construction duplex and fourplex that exists out there. And mostly they are in Florida and in Texas, okay? So this duplex, new construction, for example, is around $260,000 total price of this duplex, two sides, 2 unit, 2 families renting, right? The potential gross rent rate per month on both sides is around $2,600, right? So your investor will put down 25% down payment at 3.2% interest rate. So the net cash flow, the net monthly cash flow after all the deductions, mortgage, tax, insurance, property management fee, whatever, is at least $1,000. Okay, net monthly cash flow is 1,000. So how does that sound? Pretty attractive, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, I'll answer the questions myself for you. So, good cap rate, you know, almost 1% rule. Good cap rate, good cash and cash return, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there you go. It is that simple. All right. What time is it? We started at 9, not right now, 10:51. Plenty of time. Right now it's only 10:51. So we should get done within 20 minutes, like 11:15. So we have a good 45 minutes to do some Q&A or do some chat afterwards, or you could open up and I could see yourself on the video screen. If you wish, you can talk with your showing your video live and your audio if you want to. Yeah, so don't be shy, right? Do not be shy. I open up myself to you. You need to open up to me. Ask any questions. No questions is stupid. I take all questions, and you know, with all due respect. All right. So I know. So you know, you guys are are new into this. So anyway, it's a big challenge, but yeah, it's doable. All right. Again, emerging market in those nice markets are essentially in the Southeast United States. They call it Bible Belt, right? They're very religious out there in the South and Southeast. So according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the fastest growing area, for the foreseeable future, I would say, here's my personal analysis. The first tier of markets, here it is. This is what you want to hear. The first tier of markets are clearly in Florida and Texas. And some of you already know that, okay? The second tier markets, if you will, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Mississippi, right? South and Southeast. That's the emerging markets, all right? So, let me break it down even more, okay? Let's focus on top 2 market, Florida and Texas. Let me give you some more in-depth analysis. Florida, what are the specific cities? What are the specific neighborhoods, right, that you should put your money into these rental properties? The answer is Central Florida is one area, and Southwest Florida is the other area. Don't do Miami area, the Southeast Florida. There are 2 Miami, Fort Lauderdale. We're talking $1 million homes there, 500K homes. You're not gonna achieve cash flow in this market. I already told you, right? When you buy single family home rentals, it should not be more than 240K. That's the benchmark. That's the maximum numerical benchmark. You know what I mean? Oh, I don't know how to put it. Anyway, so one in Central Florida And if Florida is quite large, right? It's like a 100-mile circumference radius. So the cities, and not necessarily in an order, Kissimmee, south of Orlando, Point Siena, south of Orlando, Palm Bay, the Space Coast, 1 hour east of Orlando, Ocala, like 45 minutes north of Orlando, Ocala, and then Sebring, 1 hour and 15 minutes south of Orlando. So this is a Central Florida metro. A lot of new construction going on there because of tremendous growth. So you will see new construction property, single family homes for like 160K all the way up to 220K, all doing well with the rents. Very tremendous, fast moving job and population growth. You actually have no problem getting the renters in there. There's massive amount of renters out there for the reason I just told you earlier on in my presentation. Does that make sense? Okay, then another region in Florida that I see tremendous amount of path of growth, suburban. These are suburban small metros, right? If you see all the migration trends, people moving away from the big cities, they go into smaller cities, more open space, bigger homes, affordable markets, people can work remotely these days, right? It's amazing. So they can live where they want to live. So a lot of people moving to Florida some from California, but many are from Northeast area, New York City, right? People couldn't wait to get the heck out of New York City because of the massive, the pandemic situation, and so congested, so unhealthy, and all the reason. So a lot of people from New York and New Jersey in the Northeast and mainly, and other areas too, are moving to Florida, right? That's the #1 destination. So the other region of Florida is southwest of Florida. A little bit smaller metro, but it's up and coming. Southwest Florida is in Lehigh Acres, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, LaBelle, and then Port Charlotte, right? Those are some of the cities that are good for new construction. They are priced at, 180, 190K for single family homes. For duplex, around 260, 270K. Very good rental market, very good cash flow, very good appreciation potential, okay? And then the second top tier two market is Texas, right? Some of you know what I'm talking about, especially the Bay Area, Okay, the Texas, I call it the Big Four. The Big Four are Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Metroplex, and Houston, okay? And so I would like to focus on Austin better because, hey, most of you are from the Bay Area. You know what's happening with the Silicon Valley and all that. So Austin, you could make the argument Austin is a Silicon Valley 2.0. Do you know Elon Musk? They're building a industrial manufacturing plant outside Austin right now as we speak. They are doing some kind of cyber truck type of a construction. They could bring in 5,000 jobs in the next few years. $1 billion manufacturing complex, 15 miles east of downtown Austin, Elon Musk. And then, of course, Apple have a second headquarters outside Austin. It's a $1 billion campus being constructed. Not to mention, there are so many high-tech companies already entrenched in the Austin metro. So the homes there's a lot of, so it's massive amount of growth. The growth has occurred even before the pandemic. The population growth into Austin has been consistent for the past 5-10 years already. The pandemic made the migration in accelerated even more. So people, the mass exodus of Californians are moving to many different areas, but primarily to Austin, Texas, because of the high-tech Silicon Valley type of a concept. Okay, so and so the question is, I mean, yeah, inside Austin is already very, very expensive. You know, 400, 500K, so that's out of the question. So you need to target homes that are anywhere from 170K to like 240K. New construction, single family home, 3 to 4 bedroom, 2 to 2.5 bath, 1 car garage in the path of growth suburban Texas, Austin metro. And the cities are, as you can see, not necessarily in order. They're all within 50-mile radius of, inner Austin. The cities are New Braunfels, Kyle, Hutto, Manor, San Marcos, Temple, Belton, Killeen, and Georgetown. Okay, so there you go. All right, there you go. So, so what's the best real estate buying system to use? Here it is. You should focus and use the services of a turnkey provider. What is the definition of a turnkey provider? Turnkey provider typically is a company that a system where this company, the resources in the local market, in a local neighborhood, they picked up all those properties that they purchased all cash at a very deep discount into various ways. Stress sales, stress market, below market value, way at a steep discount. Turnkey provider, they have a direct relationship with the local banks, foreclosure department, REO, real estate owned departments. And they buy blocks of homes at a deep discount, they buy a bundle of homes in a very dilapidated state. But I'm talking about the Midwest market, right? But of course, in the South and Southeast market, where you buy new construction, you buy in a very good area directly from the builder. We'll talk more about that. But this turnkey provider, they're located in the Midwest, like in Alabama, in New York, upper New York, not New York City, but for example, Buffalo, Niagara Falls, New York, for example, Cleveland, Ohio, or St. Louis, Missouri. Typical Midwest type of a purchase system. So a turnkey provider also, they pay off all the liens. They have their own contract team, their own rehab team. They fix up the property. They buy those fix-up materials at a very heavy discount from a local Home Depot store, whatever. They buy the bulk construction materials at a discount, so they pass on the savings to retail investors like us. Turnkey provider places a tenant before or right after you close. Turnkey provider will mainly sell to a specified exclusive groups of real estate investors only. Their properties are not in a multiple listing service. It is not available to the general public. They have a very defined audience. So you're not subject to, so the worst thing to buy is to buy properties in a multiple listing service out there in open market, because there's so much competition, right? Because you're competing against multiple people, multiple offers everywhere. If at all possible, avoid buying in the public. Avoid buying in multiple listing service. Concept. Don't use a regular realtor out there. You know what I mean? Because they're a dime a dozen. You use a very specialized company, as I stated, turnkey. The word turnkey provider. They have this system all set up for you to benefit directly to out-of-state turnkey real estate investors such as you guys. Does that make sense? A turnkey provider provides turnkey one-stop shop approach to successful long-term investing with high level of property management with supporting resources that they have, right? This company, everything one-stop shop. They have this, the brokerage company, the turnkey provider, they have the in-house property management team, they have the title company they work with, right? They have their own rehab team, they have their own contract team, right? Everything, not only when you close a transaction long-term, they're gonna be with you the entire time. If you wanna sell your property in the future, they have the resources. They already is a broker. They can help you sell your property to a fellow real estate investor or to a, into a regular marketplace, right? But obviously finding the right turnkey system is a big challenge, right? So I can't help you that much, but hey, you heard of the word Google? Yes, you can Google anywhere. Internet search, you will be able to find a good, reputable turnkey provider, especially in the Midwest. So those kind of things. So it works, okay? So your risk is decreased dramatically as a result if you can rely on a reputable team that are honest, they are professional, they have a good track record, they have a transparency, that are, they're just honest, working. You know what I mean? So this kind of system are out there. So you're just gonna have to find it and find it quick. So you could do this sooner than later. All right, the next step, almost done by the way, almost, but not quite. So do you know the long running TV show, the Monty Hall, back in the 70s, maybe the 80s? Let's make a deal. You gotta make a deal, right? What time is it? You have to make a deal. Right now is almost 11:10. So we have plenty of time left. We have 45 minutes left until noon time. So, all right, so let's make a deal. Put your financial house in order. The reality check. So you expect to learn, the quote unquote, learn on a job. You can only go so far in terms of doing those, attending Zoom meetings, attending live webinars, attending this and that, live events, whatever, read books. Some people do all this forever and never take action. So these are theoretical knowledge. At some point in time, you have to take the plunge. You have to take the chance. You have to take some kind of risk. You have to overcome your fear, right? And then you buy property sooner than later. Then you learn on a job. The best way to learn is by learning on a job. You buy the property, go through the process, put your team together, get yourself a mentor and all that. Learn on a job. You learn doing the real thing. That's the best way to learn, right? You learn. That's the experience level. So not many people can do it, but some people can. So if you work your real estate business, just like a business, then you get paid like a business, right? I know this is a part-time situation. You still have you can keep your full-time job for as long as you want, and with this turnkey approach, the turnkey concept, you can buy multiple properties and still keep your day job, believe it or not. But the key is, real estate is a contact sport. It's not a contract sport. Contractual is not contractual really. It's a contact sport. It's all about building relationships. Okay, so communication, relationship, those kind of things. Okay, let's recap. Current and post-pandemic trends. We're almost to the end. Then we'll open up for chat and video live chat, quick Q&A. Okay, recap. Real estate investors will face, you guys, stiff competition for investment homes due to tremendous demands and low supply of inventory. Expect multiple offers with all cash buyers winning the bid, but don't worry, you qualify with a loan, you have a loan pre-approval already in place, you should be good. You'll get what you want. There's something for you. But just be patient and be persistent, right? Okay, once COVID-19 vaccine is in place and as economic restarts, the 20 or 30 million people, they're unemployed right now, they will gradually will re-enter the labor market. And hey, guess what? They'll be renting from you. They're gonna knock down your doors just to rent your homes. Okay, so even before the pandemic, we are in a renters nation. There's more renters than ever before, historically speaking. Now, during and post-pandemic, for the reasons I just stated, you could have even more renters. A typical homes that are put in place by the property management, by your property management for rent, you will typically receive 10, 20, or 30 rental applications. So your property manager managing your property, they get to pick the cream of the crop. They get to pre-screen all those multiple rental applications, and they will pick the renters that have stable jobs, that are their jobs are pandemic proof. They are who are these people? These people, they're white collar workers. They work. They are in the healthcare industry. They are nurses. There are even some doctors, some young doctors, physicians, or under some kind of residency program. They have internship. They can pay you to rent, and they're city workers, county workers, and high-tech workers. Those are typically your tenants, especially in the South and Southeast market, the emerging market scenario. Yes, high-quality tenant, and they typically live at your house for at least 3 to 5 years. So nobody want to move these days, right? They want to stay put. So as landlords, this will result in the overabundance of renters waiting to rent your home. So the vacancy factor is extremely low, almost non-existent. Okay, number 4. Consequently, the vacancy rate is going to be very, very low. And the occupancy rate is going to be very, very high. So the risk is, low, right? Whether you're a first-time investor or experienced investor buying out of state, in my estimation. So rental will stay quite long. Housing prices will continue to rise. I say it again, low inventory plus low interest rate equal hot real estate market. So now is the greatest time to be a real estate investor. Mortgage rate is all-time low, high demand, pent-up demands. So why buy new construction in Florida and Texas? New builds last longer. They have lower maintenance and upkeep. Better quality tenants, higher rents than older homes for rent. You can have numerous warranty, 10-year warranty on the roof, 5-year warranty on the boiler, electrical system, whatever, and 1-year warranty on those miscellaneous items inside the house, like cabinets and refrigerator, whatever, right? So anything that breaks down will be covered by the warranty, at least for the first year, right? So low maintenance issues with the new construction. And again, A- to B plus neighborhood, right? Path of growth. You're buying the path of growth, you're venturing into smaller cities. The bigger cities in these markets, they're getting to be more expensive. So follow the builders where they're going. Follow Whole Foods, follow Starbucks, follow Amazon distribution warehouses, right? Follow those path of growth. So, and then again, your focus should be, for example, if you have a 10 property purchase scenario in the next couple of years, single family home, investment homes, 160K to 245K price range. If you're gonna buy a duplex, 270K to 440K price range, new construction duplexes that is. So fourplex is around 580K to 680K new construction fourplex, and just not that many of them anywhere, except few places in Florida and Texas. So if you want to buy the Midwest market, okay, no, let's continue, I'm sorry. Number 6, most new builds communities in Florida, in Texas they're selling very quickly, right? Many of those new construction communities are sold out. If you want to reserve a lot, the builders will require earnest money deposit around $5,000 minimum to $30,000 to reserve the lot, depending on the builder. So as an investor, when you sign a contract, once you reserve the lot, and when you sign the contract, you just sit tight for the next 4 to 6 months, whatever, until the house is completed. Meanwhile, investor will lock in your prices with walk-in equity sometime. As an investor, you buying a discounted new construction home where the builder, they sell it to a retail buyer with a higher cost, so you can get some walk-in equity. So investors are, some of you, depending on what builder, you could be on a wait list because they ran out of lots because there's so much demand, so many investors buying those new constructions, right? Cost of construction, cost of lumber are rising all over the U.S. So the new construction homes are rising in prices because of this reason. The lumber cost is much higher now. Builders are raising their prices from phase 1 to phase 2. Many are even raising the prices on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. So I'm almost done, so bear with me. Thank you for really being so patient and sticking by me. So use your liquid source of money. Use your liquid cash you saved up from your savings and checking, from your stock market, a mutual funds account as a source of down payment. You can use your IRA to buy real estate. We can talk about that next week, part 2, right? Most of you are registered for the part 2 as well. Next Saturday, same time, same channel. And some of you can borrow for your 401k if you have no other resources, or a few other things, okay? So as a bonus, okay, I will place your email into my free weekly newsletter database unless you indicate otherwise. So with that in mind, I need to exit. I'm going to exit my share screen, and I'm going to cut off the I need to cut off my how do I turn off the recording? I'm trying to, start recording right here. Okay, so I'm gonna start recording, but stand pat. Okay, we can do some Q&A.